coffee so we can have a good session today? Okay.
Hello. First 3 rows. Sit there.
Move, come. Move.
Back rows. First 3 rows.
Move. Best spot.
One, 2, 3. Don't forget your phone. Thank you.
Yeah, we must. Number 1 seat. Okay. Good job. Okay, you can all go. That's it. Bye-bye. As you see, the speaker today, Dr. Andy, is a very high energy guy. So you're going to enjoy the talk today. This is part of our international speaker sessions. And Dr. Andy has a lot of experience. I'm going to let him introduce himself to you. But the topic is going to be simple. Successful and happy career, successful and happy life. We all want this, right? Excellent. Dr. Andy will be joined by Mr. Alan Williams, also somebody with a lot of experience in the hospitality industry. They've known each other for a very long time. They have a lot of good stories to tell, and I guarantee you will not be bored. Okay? So without further ado, Dr. Andy, the floor is yours.
Bigger clap. So bigger clap. There wasn't clapping. Remember, you're going to be on video, so we want to make it look good. Okay? Very, very happy students. Hello. My name is Dr. Andy. And so I'm here to share some advice for you. Why? Well, because I have worked in the industry in Las Vegas for back then 15 years. I've been an educator and teacher for 20-something years. But you know where I am now? Take a guess. Do you know where I work now? No. See, he got it right. I don't work. You know why? Because I am retired. You know what that means? There's 2 different kinds of retired. There's a kind of retired where you don't have any money and you're not happy, or there's a kind of retired where you have money and you're happy. I'm very happy. And so the question is, how do you become happy? By working in your career for a goal that's going to happen someday in the future. Right now, you're students. You have a lot to learn. And so you have to start deciding now what you're going to do to have a happy life. And if you don't do it, you know what? No one is going to do it for you. So today, my friend, Mr. Alan Williams, an expert in hospitality education, and I are going to share strategies for a successful career. Does anybody want to have a successful career? Yes? Very good. Why?
The reason of accomplishment in our life, for me, is to find the value of our life and why we were as a human being. Because I'm supposed to talk about the reason because in Christianity, the humans are born and they have only one life. But in Buddhism, humans they have many lives, but it depends on the cause or the action.
All right, that's good. See, actually, it's very good. You got multiple chances to have a happy life. Okay, but this is actually a good story. This book. See this book? Check in, check out. Have you used this book in one of your classes? See, written by Gary K. Ballin and Jerome Ballin. Jerome Ballin was my teacher, and Gary Ballin was my classmate. So they've been very successful. They wrote a book. That's good. So that's the first time I've seen that in a long time. So let's get started. I'm going to give you, today we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you 3 pieces of advice. Not 20, not 100, 3. So number 1, success. You define a happy life. How do you define success? Money? You like money? Okay. How much money do you want? For a living. So do you want to live? Do you want to live in a big house or a small house? Decent house, fair enough. You want a big car or a small car? Everybody can get in. That's good. Good answer. Okay, how about where do you want to eat? You want to eat you want to eat street food or you want to eat in a nice restaurant?
Sometimes street food is far and it's not.
And then someday you want to travel? You want to travel to Europe?
I want to go around the world and see what the people like and what they can do about their life, what kind of their
Okay, so see, he knows what he wants. He doesn't want money. How many people just want money? Because I can tell you, what money? Oh, yeah. So you want a lot of money? You can buy whatever you want. Money does not make you happy. Makes life easier, but I personally know many very, very rich people. And you know what? They're not happy. I like his answer better. He knows I want enough to eat. I want enough for my friends to fit in the car. He wants to travel around the world. For that, he's going to need a little money. Right? You want to have a career? I say he never even said career. Where you go? You go to hotel? You go to hospitality school? What kind of job do you want to get when you graduate? Huh?
chef.
The chef. You want to be a chef? Okay. You want to own your own restaurant, or you want to work for a big hotel?
Own my restaurant.
Okay. How much does it cost to open a restaurant? A lot. Now, see, here's the good. So your first restaurant is going to be where? On the street. No, on the street. Right? You're going to be, because he said he wants to eat street food. And you're a chef, so you can open a restaurant on the street tomorrow. That's street food. And then you get 2 restaurants. Then you build a small restaurant, a big restaurant, and then you become restaurants all over Thailand. Okay. Success, you define your success. You have to know what you want to be. If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. Me, I wanted to have a good family. I wanted to have money to take care of my expenses, and I wanted to travel. And because that's actually very similar to us, so you and I are very similar. I have traveled the world. Why? Because I positioned myself and tried to set up goals to travel. Why am I here today? Think about it. Why am I here? Because my friend John Lure, he invited me. And so I'm here because of my friend. And so if you have friends, that'll make it easier for you in the future. But today, you ready? Our first tip. Who wants to know the first tip for success? Okay, thank you. Thank you. We have one person. Okay, number 1. Do what you say you're going to do. I want you to think about it. Do what you say you're going to do. Is that easy? No. If you tell your friends, I'll meet you at the library at 3 o'clock to help you with your homework, what does your friend expect? Your friend expects you to be at the library at 3 o'clock. If you do not show up at the library at 3 o'clock, your friend goes, you're no good. You didn't help me. When you're in the industry, your customers at your restaurant, your customers are going to walk up to you and say, I want a beautiful meal. Your job is to say, yes, I'm going to give you a beautiful meal. You have to do what you say you're going to do. This is a habit. If you can't do what you say you're going to do, then nobody will trust you. So trust is number one. If I can't trust you, I don't want to go into business with you. If I can't trust you, I don't even want to go to a party with you. If I can't trust you, why are you my friend? So trust is number one. And if you don't do what you say you're going to do, you lose trust. Dependability. When you work in the industry, people are going to ask you to do projects. Could be we have a big dinner for 100 people tomorrow night. And you're going to cook the food for it. And you're going to serve the food. And we have to set up the room, just like setting up this room here today. So I have to know you're dependable to do everything that you're supposed to do to have a successful event. If I can't depend on you, I won't even hire you. So you have to be professional. You have to be professional. So now the Dusit Thani College, I want to say, in my opinion, has a higher level of professionalism than other schools I visit. One reason, because, what's your name? Okay, stand up, Carl. Okay, see, beautiful uniform. Very, doesn't you look professional? Oh yeah, you stand up. Yeah, both of you, go ahead. Okay, Carl, which one are we going to hire? We only can hire one person. Which one? Yeah, you see? Oh, very good. Okay, congratulations. You're out of you. And you work for Carl. Okay, why did he pick you? You look professional. If you're dependable and I can trust you, then you have a bright future. But if you can't even put on your uniform properly, then why would I hire you? This is, you have to understand, the purpose of you wearing a uniform is not to make life hard for you. It's not easy to wear a uniform. I know. But it's to develop habits that if you can do it now, you can do it when you have your career. So number one, do what you say you're going to do. It is easy. Everybody understand that one? And then the next one is learn to say no. This is, you have to understand the concept here. If you can't do what you say you're going to do, then tell somebody no. Can you help me with my homework on Friday night? No. Why? Well, because I'm going out. But if I say yes, then I'm going to help you with your homework instead of doing my other project, which might be more important. And if you say yes to everything, then you're going to be very busy. And if you can't focus on those things that are important, then you're going to have a tough time. So learning to say no is a skill. Actually, Steve Jobs, remember Steve Jobs with Apple Computers? Okay, he was a famous guy. What did he say? He said, the most important decisions you make are the ones that you don't do. And if you don't do things that are not important, you can focus on the things that are important. So rule number one, do what you say you're going to do. If I even with Alan, my friend, I said, Alan, we're going to Dusit Thani College. I'll meet you in Bangkok, October 22nd, which was on Sunday. See you there. And he said, yes. And I said, yes. That was it. Meet you there. Here we are. My friend, and this was when I was your age, after I graduated, he said, I'm going to get married. I want you to be my best man. I said, okay. And he said, come to San Francisco on this date, this time, and sit in the lobby of the Hyatt Hotel. And this is 40 years ago. No phones, no cell phones, no social media, no computers. You can't even imagine. Yes, I was sitting in a hotel, and he walks in the door because we were friends and dependable, we trusted each other. And we said yes. If you say yes, don't let anything stop you from being successful in doing what you say you're going to do. That's number one. Number two, you ready? This is easy. Be on time. One, two, three, four. Why are you sitting in the fifth row?
I was at one time for
You know why I'm talking to you in the fifth row?
because the space is
Yeah. Because I told everybody to sit in the first three rows.
I had no idea.
Because he was not on time, he missed an important piece of information, and because of that information, I could go back and visit him in the fifth row. You got lucky. I left you girls alone. Okay? But you were late too. Okay? So being on time is a skill. How do you be on time? Are you organized? So number one, do you have a calendar? Yes? Who said yes? Okay. You get everything on your calendar? No? Then you don't have a calendar. The board did? Okay, show me your calendar. Okay, she's looking, why she's looking for that? Okay. So when you're asked to, this is back to rule number one, if you do what you say you're going to do, how do you keep track of it? You have to have a calendar. You have to have a list. You have to write things down. You have to know what you're doing, and so you have to be organized and disciplined and making sure that, and again, this is important too, you have to learn now so you have the habits to be in your career. She's still looking. Okay. All right, show me today's calendar. Because you know what I'm looking for, right, Al? What am I looking for? I'm looking for, I am going to be listening to the most important international speaker of the day. That's me. What do you use? Show me. Google Workspace, okay, very good. Show me you got my name today. Show me today's calendar. What time? 3 o'clock? She's still looking. Complicated. See, how long did it take her to find it? A long time. You have to get it. You have to use your calendar all the time to keep track of things. Some professionals, some people keep everything on their calendar. Why? Because your mind is limited. Can you remember everything you're supposed to do? No. Your mind is supposed to be for thinking, not for remembering things that you have to do. You have to. You're still looking. She gave up. Okay, I know. It's not easy. But when you look at the way you track and keep organized, your mind can only handle so much. You have to look at your mind as like an attic. You know an attic where you put old stuff? Storage? Well, storage gets filled up soon. And then it runs out of space and you get too busy. You have to keep your mind open so you can be creative. Your mind is used to be creative, to be thinking and make decisions, not to remember all the things that you promised you're going to do. So you have to write things down. Now, this young man, he's got a little book. I like this guy. Carl's got a book. He's writing stuff down. You, nothing. Because you're just having a good time. That's okay. You're listening. See, he's listening to me very carefully, I can tell. But that's the difference. If you listen, you learn something, but if you don't write it down, you'll forget it. So think of things that you're going to learn today. There's only 3 things, but if you don't write it down or put it down somewhere, you're going to forget. You'll have to work. You'll have to do it very. So why is this all important? Because if he wants to open up his restaurant, right? You want to open up a restaurant in your hometown. Okay, how are you going to do that? Okay, so he has a 10-year plan. Okay, what's the plan? What do you have to do this year to meet your goal of 10 years? Okay. get more ideas. Okay, so he's going to work for 5 years to get experience. He's going to travel for a few years to get ideas, and then he's going to come back and bring that all together in his hometown. Very good. That's the goal. The plan is you have to graduate school first. You have to have good grades. You have to have some money. You have to save money. Because 10 years from now, you're going to have money for your thing. Are you saving money for your restaurant 10 years from now? No. You don't have to show it, because you could put away, how much baht? You could put 10 baht a day into a jar and say, what's that for? That's for my restaurant. People will laugh at you. What do you do with 10 baht every day? You put 10 baht into the jar. What's that for my restaurant? 5 years from now, you can use that money to travel. 10 years from now, you can use that money to start your restaurant, because you're going to need money. But by then, you're going to have a job. Your 10 baht per day now is going to become 100 baht per day, or 200 baht. Huh?
36,500.
36,500. Very good. That's a big number. Okay. So the key thing is, you have to keep track of the small things, and the small things will help you keep track of the big things in the future. So he has to learn how to keep track of his money. He says, I'm going to travel the world. The world's a big place. Where do you want to go? Pick the countries. Start researching. Know how much does it cost to get to the country you want to go to. All those little things make up your future. If you can't do the small things, you won't be able to do the big things. Now, I'll say beyond that, this is this is a good book. Anybody hear of this book? Atomic Habits. This is a very good book for you to read. Or you can just go online and look for YouTube or whatever. But Atomic Habits basically says the small things that you do today will help you be successful in the future. Learn how to tie your tie. Yeah, but I really was speaking here. But you learn how to tie your tie. Okay, fair enough. Small things. How do you look sharp today? How do you comb your hair? How do you get ready for class? How do you take notes? How do you keep your calendar? How do you save money? All those small things add up year after year, and then eventually you become it. This is a very good book for you to read. Go online and get some information about it. Okay. Number 3, this is my third one. Very easy. What was the first one? Number 1. What was number 1? We can help share. It's a tough crowd here. I know. Carl, what was number 1? Huh? Success. What was number 2? Beyond that. What was number? There was one before that. Do what you say you're going to do. You write that down. Okay, he's good. This guy's good. Learning to say no. Fair enough. Okay, he's the only one taking notes, so I like this guy. All right, make decisions. You know how to make a decision? Making decisions is what made me successful. See, I ran schools, I ran hotels, I ran restaurants, all those things, because I made decisions. And people like it when you make decisions. See, tonight after school tonight, you're going to go with your friends, you're going to stand in a little circle. Where should we go to eat? Right? Where are we going to go eat tonight? Everybody looks around. I don't know. Where are you going? I don't know. We go here, we go there. But somebody's going to say, let's go to this restaurant. And they make a decision. What does everybody else do? Okay. So they follow that person. Who's the leader of the group? The person that made the decision. So making decisions is an important skill. If you can't make decisions now, how are you going to make decisions in the future? Now, this is the hard part. Why choice makes you miserable? See, this is hard to understand. I'm going to explain this to you. When you have to make a decision, you're afraid. Whatever are you afraid of? I might make a mistake. If I make that decision, I might make the wrong decision. And if I make the wrong decision, I'm going to be unhappy. So making decisions, you already regret the decision before you even make a decision. You're scared to make a decision. Opportunity cost. If I decide to go one way, I'm missing out on the opportunity that's over here. It's a choice. If you decide to go to one restaurant, well, you might had a better food dinner at another restaurant. So the two, every time you make a decision, you are losing opportunity to do one thing because you decided to do something else. That's why sometimes you're scared to make decisions. I might make a mistake. I might work for this hotel company or restaurant, but maybe I should have worked for a different restaurant or a different hotel company. And you're always going to say, I made a mistake. Don't look back. Escalation of expectations means when you make decisions, you're choosing the best thing. When I choose, I want to pick the very best thing that's out there. And you already know before you make the decision that you might make a mistake. So this is a different concept. That's a little bit thing. And then you say, oh my God, I made the wrong decision. And people say, oh, they feel bad. So making decisions can make you unhappy. So you have to learn how to make good decisions in order to be happy. Making good decisions will help you in the future. So let me give you a few examples why. First, you have to gather information. So you have to study, you have to do research. That's easy. Number two, you have to listen to people's opinions. You say, what's a good restaurant in town? Where should I go? What's a good school? Where should I go? What classes should I take? What company should I work for? All those you can ask for people's opinions, and that information helps you make better decisions. Then you evaluate the options. I could go here, I could go there, I could work for one company A, I could work for company B. All those decisions, if you have good information, good opinions from your friends, then you make better decisions. And the last one is negative outcome. This is one. What's the worst that could happen? Why am I afraid to make a decision? If you make a decision, what's the worst that could happen? If you think about that in your mind, it's easier to make decisions because the negative outcomes, the bad things that could happen, are not that important. Because yeah, exactly. The negative consequences. Okay, so Carl, someday you're going to say, I need a girlfriend. You get 2 girlfriends. You're going to pick one girlfriend, you're going to pick 2. Well, someday I'm going to get married. Oh, if I make the wrong choice here, that's a big mistake, right? So you have to make good decisions, but you look at what's the consequences of your decisions. So what's the consequences? Don't break the law, because if you break the law, you're going to go to jail. Go to jail, bad thing. Don't do your homework, get a lower grade. That's the consequence. Don't do what you say you're going to do, you lose trust. So every time you make a choice or a decision, there's a consequence, potential negative outcome. But I can tell you that most of the time, if you think about your decisions, if you get good information, if you get advice from your parents and your friends and your teachers, 99% of the time you're going to have good decisions. And if you don't start making decisions now, your experience will be very low and you'll be scared for the rest of your life. Make decisions and don't be afraid. Because even if you make a bad decision and you have a negative outcome, guess what? You learned from it. And you'll never do it again. But if you never make mistakes, you're always going to be afraid of making mistakes. This is a good book. I don't know if you can look online. The Art of Thinking Clearly helps. This is one, if you go online, it's called Biases and different kinds of biases. The way you think about the world, they give you a good outlist of ways to evaluate different people, the situation, why people do the things they do. Very good work. Bonus quote. Okay, you ready? I only told you 3 things. This is bonus. You want to see the bonus? No? Okay. You sure? I don't hear you. Yes? Okay. This is my favorite quote. You know who this is? That's Seneca. Ever heard of Seneca? Ancient Rome, 2,000 years ago. Ancient Rome. Now, Seneca was actually the 3rd richest person in the Roman Empire. Very good guy. True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which he that does so wants nothing. I'm going to break this down a little bit. Number one, enjoy the present. Are you having fun at school? Thank you. The rest of them don't. See, that's sad. Because this is your life right now. If you're not happy with what you're doing, you're in the wrong place. And I'm not saying that school is easy. I'm not saying that school is fun. I'm not saying that you have to like it. You have to learn how to enjoy what you're doing today. Because today is the only day you have. You don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow. Yesterday is gone. So the only day you have to enjoy the present is right now. So you have to learn, no matter how hard it is, you have to look at that project you're working on. You have to work at the job you're working on. You have to go home and do stuff with your parents. All that stuff, learn to enjoy it. Because that's part of your life. If you don't like today, and you're always looking for tomorrow, you're never going to be happy. See, are you happy today? Are you happy? Okay, good. Are you going to be happy if you're going to be happy, or are you going to wait till you open your restaurant in your hometown? Yes? See, if he says, I'll be happy when I open my restaurant in my hometown, he has to wait 10 years to be happy. That's a long time. So he's got to be happy today. In the preparations that you're going to do to open your restaurant in 10 years should be part of the happiness that you have. The future, don't worry about the future. You have your calendar, plan for the future, get ready for the future, but your worries doesn't help anyone. The future will happen no matter what happens. The only control you have is what you do to be ready for the future. So studying today in your school will help you open your own restaurant 10 years from now. Studying today and getting good grades will help you get a good job when you graduate. So the only control you have is today. Don't worry about the future, but you have to do today in order to be ready for the future. Next one, hopes and fears. I hope to open a restaurant. Never going to happen. I'm afraid of opening a restaurant. Okay, worthless. Focus on what you can do today, preparation for the future. And satisfied with what we have. You're going to look around. Some people will drive bigger cars. Some people are going to have bigger houses. Some people are going to have more money. Doesn't matter. What happens is how you look at today's world and how you evaluate yourself. And if you're happy with what you're doing, don't worry about anybody else. You'll find that easily. So spoil happiness with desire of what you do not have. So if you're not happy with what you're doing because you want more, you're never going to be happy. Be happy with what you have, and it'll make your life a little bit easier. Thank you. That's it. Very good. That was okay? Are you happy? Yeah. Yay! Do you have any questions? I know this is the tough part. I used to give prizes for questions, but I don't give prizes anymore. Yes, sir.
How do we handle setbacks? Like if we have any other part of success?
Part of setbacks are part of life. Your entire life will never go smoothly. Actually, it's an interesting comment because I like to read. I read Greek and Roman philosophers, and Zeno, back before Seneca, a long time ago, he said happiness was a smooth, flowing life. And what that means is if you can avoid setbacks, then you'll be happier. But setbacks happen. They're going to happen. You're gonna get fired from a job someday. You're gonna break your leg someday. You're gonna lose money. You're gonna walk down the street and your wallet's gonna disappear. Somebody's gonna say something bad to you and you're not gonna like it. All those things, that's part of life. So how you react to it is more important. If I have a setback, I don't cry. I don't go home and cry. No, I go, okay, I had a setback. What can I do to bring myself back up, to overcome this setback and move forward? The only way you have is to move forward. You can't go back. So learning how to accept things, learning how to say, that's part of life. Things happen. Sometimes you're going to take your homework and you go to school and the wind's going to take it and blow it away and you're going to get a bad grade. That happens. You're going to forget that you had a test and you go, oh my God, I forgot to have a test. Happens. But that's not the end of the world. That's just, as I tell my students and I tell my own children, everything that happens to you is a learning experience. And if you learn how to learn from that experience, then you'll do better in the future. That's the only thing you can do. I've learned from so much. I learned so much from my friend, Mr. Alan Williams, and I'm going to ask him to come up and share his knowledge with us. Oh, no, one more question. Yes. Go ahead, Carl. The question is, why did some intelligent or even famous people have unhappy lives? Well, I don't know if they did. They had tragic lives, they had hard lives, but were they happy? Maybe they were. But when you read their story from the outside, well, they didn't seem too happy. But maybe, see, this is actually true. Many of your friends are going to say, I'll be happy when I have a big car. I'll be happy when I have a big job. I'll be happy when I have a big house. And if you're always looking for the future, then you're never going to be happy. So maybe that's the case. So intelligence, wealth, all those things have nothing to do with happiness. Intelligence and wealth makes it easier to be happy, but happiness is the way you look at the world yourself. I'm happy. I'm a happy guy. You know why? Because I say I'm a happy guy. And I'm going to be happy no matter what you say. He's going, that's the worst speaker I've ever heard in my entire life. So yeah, okay, whatever, I'm still happy. But I learned from that. She said, well, the guy in the back row said I'm a terrible speaker. And I went, well, maybe I'll do something different next time to be better. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Dr. Andy, and also thank you to those of you that asked some very interesting questions. The only other thing I'd add to the question you had there is, if you're making mistakes that are resulting in disappointment, you need to make sure you learn from your mistakes. If you keep making the same mistakes again and again, that's a bigger problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting both Dr. Andy and myself to speak to you today. As Andy's already mentioned, I'm fortunate to have met Andy some years ago. My background is also in the hotel management space, particularly food and beverage to start with. I was fortunate enough after that to own and operate my own hotel school. So I had a very successful hotel school in Australia. And in that time, I've managed to do a number of great things. And like Andy, I now enjoy semi-retirement. I'm not quite as old as him. You can see he's got a bit more grey hair than me. So I am a little bit younger than Andy, not very much younger, but I'm also what I would call semi-retired. And so you see the pictures there. That's a picture of me quite a bit younger. And the other one is me spending some time on some of the things I love in life is boating, diving in the water, sailing, and of course, playing golf with my friend. So I'm going to share a few more thoughts about how to be successful, but also how to be happy in life. And I guess one of the challenges that we have here today is you're one of many, many students studying hospitality, tourism management, or hospitality, hotel management, food and beverage management, studying to be chefs, farmers managers, hotel managers, whatever path you want to take. You are one of many, many students at many, many different institutions. We're all making the same choice. How are you going to stand out from the rest? What's going to make you different that an employer looks at you and employs you as their first choice? And I guess Andy's already given some fantastic ideas about preparing yourself for that, making decisions, learning to say no, learning to say yes, all those wonderful things that will all enable you. I want to add a few more ideas to this. And I think there's a few questions that we need to speak about. First of all, how important is a successful career to me? You've all made big decisions to come to Tusitani College and study, which is a great decision. How serious are you about that decision? I would hope everybody in this room is extremely serious about that decision. It's not cheap, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of effort to graduate. So think about that decision, be happy with that decision, and again, I hope everybody in this room is happy with the decision they've made, and that puts you at least on the path to starting to have a successful career. And I would argue that a successful career is absolutely related to a happy life. If you are working in an industry or in a job that you're not happy with, and in fact don't enjoy going to work, I don't know how happy your life is going to be. Probably not as happy as you would like it to be. So think about that decision, because that decision, your career, as Andy mentioned, you choose a lady and you're going to get married, or you choose a man and you're going to get married, that's a lifetime decision. A career nowadays is not a lifetime decision. You will have a number of careers in your life. You may have a number of careers in your life, but make good decisions about those careers. They will absolutely help you in the happiness that you will enjoy. Part of my presentation today, and I'm going to give you 2 ideas that we'll talk about a bit more. I'll elaborate on a few more than 2 ideas. But one thing I used to say to my students was, one of the things that's going to make you stand out from the crowd is innovation. While you're studying, you need to think about what is going to make me different. Why am I going to be able to stand out as a potential employee to an employer? Why would they employ me? What is innovative about me? And what can I do that is innovative? And I would argue nowadays that technology is affecting everybody's life. And part of that, I guess, effect on your life, one of the things that you can think about, I'm just going to run through some of these, is the rapid advancement of technology and keeping up with technology. Innovation today for me is not only about how technology is influencing the industry, it's also about how technology is influencing each of our individual lives. It wasn't that long ago. How many of you remember the red telephone box? Have any of you ever used a red telephone box? Do you know what it is? Okay, good. So it wasn't that long ago, I mean, what was that, 83 years ago, the red telephone box used to be one of the only forms of communication. In fact, back in my earlier days, when I travelled, like you want to travel, to get some experience, learn about different cultures, different opportunities, the only way I could communicate with my parents was to go to a red telephone box, take as many 20-cent pieces as I could, slot them in the box, and keep putting the money in to have a chat with my mum and dad, and then when I run out of money, that's it, no more phone call, okay? So I had to find a telephone box, I had to go and use the telephone box, and I had to make sure I had money to do that. Nowadays you just go in your pocket, pull out the iPhone and call, right? Everybody does that. So life has changed rapidly through technology in the last 83 years. Not a long time in the scheme of things. The iPhone, and now the iPhone is no longer a phone, it is a device. It enables a lot more than simply making phone calls. Pictures, communication, connection, connectivity, social, all those things. Why do I mention technology? Because we've just gone through a rather difficult period for everybody. The COVID pandemic was something that's affected not only each of you and each of us in our individual lives, but it's also affected the industry. But since the COVID pandemic, according to an American Express survey, since the pandemic, 57% of the travellers are now willing to spend more once in a lifetime money on vacations. So now we have a recovery of the industry where people are wanting to travel and wanting to forget the isolation that we all experienced through the COVID pandemic and travel. What is that causing? That's causing a demand. Hotels are becoming busy again, restaurants are becoming busy again, and because of that, they need staff. There is a massive shortage of staff, not only in Thailand, all around the world. In fact, I was lucky enough just to travel to Italy. I spent some time in Sicily, and there were many, many restaurants that we went to where, in fact, I was about to have one of my birthday at a hotel, and the hotel cancelled the event on the day because they had no staff. So, staff shortages are a big, big issue globally, but providing opportunities for each and every one of you. So, let's just talk through the two technologies that I think I want each and every one of you to think about a little bit more for yourself. What those technologies are and how they impact you and your personal lives, but also how they may impact you and your professional lives. Because the more you can do to innovate, the more you can do to make yourself successful, not only in becoming employed, but successful throughout your career, the better your chances of happiness are. So I'm going to spend just a few seconds talking about the contactless area and the artificial intelligence area. Two of the very rapidly emerging areas of technology. How many of you have got a ChatGPT account? Put your hand up if you've got a ChatGPT account. That really does amaze me. Everybody in this room should have a ChatGPT account. If for no other reason other than to understand what the technology is and how it works and what it can do for you. I would encourage each of you tonight to go home. All you need is an email address, set up a free account, and explore that. That falls under the artificial intelligence area. But let's just quickly look at the first one on the list. Contactless technologies. What are they and what do they mean? The industry is changing rapidly because of these technologies. I've just travelled from Australia to Thailand, and in my experience, many of you would have experienced this as well, I checked in through a link that the airline sent me to say, check-in is now available. I got my electronic boarding pass. I arrive at the airport. I go to one of the remote check-in stands. I print out labels to go onto my luggage. I stick them onto the luggage. I walk over to a conveyor belt. I put my luggage onto the conveyor belt. Luggage is gone, sent to Thailand. I go to the lounge and have a cup of coffee. 10 years ago, I couldn't do that. 10 years ago, I had to stand in line, wait for something to serve, long lines, long queues. When I got there, ask all the questions, show the passport, fill out the form, get the stickers, get the weigh. This bag has to go somewhere else. This bag can come through here. This one's oversized. A long, continuous process. Technology has enabled a lot of convenience for the travellers. So we've got mobile check-in, fast food kiosks. Anybody been to the Singapore airport lately? Anybody go to McDonald's where you can just press the button and order your McDonald's food or whatever it is? We don't need people at the counter anymore. We can do it through some of these technologies. This is a local restaurant pretty close to where I live in Australia. And in fact, I put it there because they serve fantastic Thai food. Nothing like the Thai food when you come to Thailand, but in Australia, this is one of the restaurants I go to have Thai food. It's called the Spice Market. But the same thing, I I make a reservation at the restaurant using a QR code. When I arrive at the restaurant, I order using the QR code on my phone. When the food comes to me, it comes from a robot. When I pay, I can choose to pay on my phone, or I can choose to go up to the counter and pay at the counter. So the things I want you to think about is that these technologies are already existing and available, and they are impacting the industry on a daily basis. The other thing I want you to think about, see the little yellow sign on their marketing campaign? Even though we've got a great sense of technology, and the technologies that are assisting the industry become more efficient and more effective, they're still looking for staff. We are hiring, we need staff. So I want to also make a point that whilst technology is, I guess, assisting the industry, making things more effective, making things more efficient, it's still not doing away with the need for human-to-human contact. It's still not doing away with the need for you to employ people. No matter how technical the technology might make that organisation or institution. Just some of the examples that the hotel industry has already moved towards. I don't know if you've gone to the Hyatt or the Hilton, some of the larger brands have got their own robots and concierges. So sending something to the room can now be done through a robot. We don't need a person to do that. Checking into the hotel, most times now you get the check-in on your phone, the room keys on your phone. So all these contactless technologies are available. Part of it was the rapid advancement of some of this technology was also caused by COVID, dare I say, because there was a lot of contactless technologies that were accelerated through that period, mainly due to hygiene. But the good thing about it was, out of COVID again, came the fact that the technologies rapidly advanced. What does this mean to you? You might know about these technologies, but do you actually know how they operate? Do you know how to use them? More importantly, do you know how to manage them? Did you know there's robotic chefs? There are robotic chefs, yes, correct. So one day you might have robots in your kitchen doing your cooking for you. There's, again, at the airport in Singapore, there's robotic cocktail makers. So think about these technologies because they are not things of the future, they are actually now in existence and operating. The second one I wanted to talk about was probably an area that is affecting the industry, not only the hospitality industry, but industries globally, and that is the concept of artificial intelligence and how the artificial intelligence has been absorbed into the industry. So there's lots and lots of different examples. I mean, one of the oldest examples that exist is this central booking systems or bookings management systems that are available. Big data, collecting data, using data. How do we effectively use that data to assist us and assist our operations in making good decisions? Understanding our customers, understanding what they want, understanding what they need, predicting what they want, predicting what they need, and providing those services. So again, Robo Concierge. Does anybody in the room understand hyperdynamic pricing? If I give you a quick, nobody? Anybody want to have a go? Because if you're in the hospitality industry, if you're in the tourism industry, you need to know about hyperdynamic pricing. This is where if you go onto a site, let's say I'm booking with Qantas Airlines in Australia, and I look at the site, I look at a trip, I'm preparing to plan a trip, I see the price. Let's say that it gives me a price to come to Thailand, 1,000 Australian dollars on these dates, and I decide, let's leave it for a little bit, and see if I can get it cheaper. So I go back in 2 weeks' time, the site remembers that I've been there, and it says, the last time you were here, in the meantime we found out that there's an event in Bangkok, a popular event, so the pricing's going up. It's now $1,100. And I say, well, I'm going to take a chance and leave it another week, and then it says the price is now $1,200 because our occupancy for this flight is increased. So dynamically the prices are changing according to the conditions. There's a whole range of prediction utilities. One of the best examples I can give you, there are already hotel operations and chains that when you check into the room already knows the temperature that you like in the room, already knows the lighting that you liked in the room, it already knows the television channel that you like to watch, it already knows the temperature you like to shower at, and automatically adjusts the room to deal with all of those predictive needs. And that's because the last time you were in the hotel, the card that you used to go into the room and the settings that you used while you were in the room are all remembered under your profile. And so there's a whole lot of prediction technology that is enabling the industry to better understand their customers and better prepare for their customers. And I mentioned the spice market before. The interesting thing is, although I like to try lots of different foods, I still have some of my favourite Thai dishes that I like, particularly green chicken curry. And that restaurant knows. There's lots and lots of different examples. So just for the last part of the session, what I would like to do is maybe, I'm just going to move this on a little bit.
Let me give you another example. Let's say you want to call a restaurant, but maybe it's a small restaurant which is not easily available to book online. The call actually goes a bit differently than expected. So take a listen.
Hi, I'd like to visit for Wednesday the 7th.
For 7 people?
It's for 4 people.
4 people with
Next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
actually we reserve for like after like 5 people. For people you can come.
How long is the wait usually to be seated?
For when tomorrow or weekday or?
For next Wednesday, the 7th.
Oh, no, it's not too busy. We can come for the people, okay?
Oh, I gotcha. Thanks.
So which one was the robot? Which one was the chatbot in that conversation? The restaurant was? Left side, this side, was the caller, and the restaurant was the right side, am I right? Okay, so which one was the artificial intelligence? The left side, the person making the call. And did you see how smart the intelligence is at the moment? That's artificial intelligence, that no matter how much the waitress or the caller, the restaurant, the employee at the restaurant tried to confuse the robot, that artificial intelligence was able to adjust the conversation all the way through to actually make a booking. So this voice duplexing, which is actually part of Google's product, that's been out for a little while now, that technology is rapidly advancing. Where we don't need somebody to answer the phone, we can put a chatbot to answer the phone. Now, I mentioned to you ChatGPT a moment ago. I'm not going to play this for you. I asked you to get yourself an account so you can all practice this at home, you can play with it. But you can actually set up your own chatbot through ChatGPT. Will help you innovate There's nothing like being able to go to a job interview and the employer says, do you have a ChatGPT account? You say yes. Have you ever used it? You say yes. Would you like to hear my chatbot? Because at your age, in your position, what's going to make you different? And you might say, well, that's all wonderful, Mr. Williams, Alan. We are in Thailand, and the people that we're talking to are Thai. Well, ChatGPT, you can set up your translator. Do it in whatever language you want. Because again, those technologies are available. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these. These are just a whole range of other technologies that are available for you to think about. Just by way of getting you guys to think about this, what do we actually mean by sustainable technologies? Anybody have an idea? Put your hand up if you do. What is sustainable technology in the industry?
Is the technology is just not harm the earth environment. Because in nowadays the climate change is one of the biggest challenge in the mankind history.
Absolutely. So, what makes your hotel green? What makes your kitchen green? What makes your operation green? How do you reduce your carbon footprint? How do you look towards the sustainability of the earth? And those sustainable technologies, for example, an old example is the key card that you put into the slot when you go into the hotel room that provides power to the room, so that the room's power is not burning all day long. Now, people that used to be very smart got two cards, put one in the power, puts the other one in the pocket, and walks out of the room, and lets the room get cold, but the power is still going all day. The smart technology is the motion sensors that are in the room. When you walk out of the room, even though you've got the card in there, it powers down. So these are sustainable technologies, ways to save water, ways to reduce plastic use. All these technologies are available that you should be thinking about. I was surprised. We were at a restaurant the other night in Thailand and ordered some drinks, and there were still plastic straws in there. Do you know that where I come from in Australia, you can't use a plastic straw? The restaurant will get a fine if they use plastic straws. Virtual reality, what do we mean there? Anybody? You all know the goggles that you can use? I'm going to go straight down to the bottom there, augmented reality, because they are related. What is augmented reality? So I told you I just recently visited Italy, and I went to a town that's well known in the world. You know Pompeii. Everybody knows Pompeii. Why is Pompeii famous? Sorry? Tell me why Pompeii is famous. It's the town that was covered by the volcano. It's buried by a volcano many, many years ago. And they are still excavating it today and seeing these fantastic Roman towns with all the artifacts and all the history and all the buildings and all the roads and all those things that exist under the ash. But guess what? I'm in Pompeii walking around with a tour guide. I can choose to listen to the tour guide, or I can put on the goggles and the headphone and do the augmented reality tour. And through these goggles, I can see the volcano coming towards me. I can see the buildings burning. I can actually experience, almost as though I was there back all those thousands of years ago, when Pompeii was buried. And the intelligence of the technology is, it's actually a big city. for those of you that don't know Pompeii very well, it's a big city, so you can walk 2 kilometres in this direction and you see buildings there, and you can walk 3 kilometres in this direction, you see something completely different. Depending on which way I walk, the technology is adjusting according to the path that I take. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's getting late in the afternoon, but I'm hoping that what I'm saying to you, if nothing else, is there is lots and lots of opportunities in the hospitality and tourism industry. And I think that choosing this industry, for those of you that have chosen it as a career, is number one, a fantastic start. Because I believe, and I chose this industry for these reasons, it's an industry that needs people with passion, it's an industry that needs people that are professional, and it's an industry that needs people that are dedicated. How do you set yourself up for success? How do you make your life as happy as you possibly can by entering this industry? We hope we made the right decision in entering the industry. We know we made the right decision by coming to Nusantara to study. We're working towards graduating with a fantastic qualification. What's going to make you more employable than somebody from one of the other institutions? The more you understand about the future of the industry, and I use technology as a big part of the future of the industry, the more you can innovate, the more you understand about robotics in the kitchens, robotics in the rooms, artificial intelligence, big data. You don't need to understand all of it. You choose a technology that you think you can become most comfortable with. One that affects your job and your area, the area that you most aspire to work in. But don't ever stop learning, because technology is here to stay. Technology is here to stay. And I believe if you do that, you will be more employable than the person next to you. And especially at your young age, while you're studying, take those opportunities of exploring and learning those technologies while you're actually in your college. Do we have any questions? Wonderful.
So, we need to ask for your opinion in the future. So, humans are going to work in the hospitality industry during the age of advancements of technology.
Absolutely. So the question is very good. I think this is probably the most obvious question that I get asked for every presentation about what's my future opportunity then if robots are going to do my work. Is that right? Why am I coming into this industry? Well, I think the example that I use just with the restaurant that I go to, the Spice Market, they are probably one of the most technology-focused restaurants in the region, in my town. As I said, I can do everything almost online. While I'm there, I've got robots serving me. There's still people in the kitchen cooking. There's still people looking after the restaurant. There's still people managing the business. Who owns the business? It's not a robot. Who's planning the business? Who's thinking about all those technologies that they want to put into their operations? How are they managing that? So the focus is slightly different. The skill is slightly different. We can get robots to do the mundane tasks that we don't need to pay humans to do. Humans are expensive to pay, but we still need humans to manage the robots. We don't know yet if robots are easier to manage than humans. They may not be. So I certainly don't think that robots will replace humans. I think robots will take over the mundane operational work. Let's face it, if you're standing at a concierge desk and you get asked the same question every day, 300 times a day, can you please let me know, or can you please call a taxi for me, when I can go up to a kiosk and push a button that says call a taxi, and the taxi comes quicker, and I can press the button on Uber or Grab or whatever I want, because I have an account. quicker, easier, cheaper, the whole thing. So, whilst I've replaced the concierge, that person can now be looking at something that's even more important. What about cybersecurity? Train that concierge to manage cybersecurity of the hotel. It's probably one of the biggest risks that the hotel industry faces. Protecting people's information, your guest information, your staff information, your information. Are there any other questions? On that note, everybody, put your hands together for yourselves, because you've listened to me. Oh, sorry, we do have one question, sorry. Apologies.
So as you mentioned that in the future, there will be less employees due to the technology development, and most of the people that have a great skill will be managed in the higher position, and most of them will be fired due to the innovation of the technology. So if we not good enough in the future, so we get fired, and how do we adapt to that?
So, he's asked a question that almost, I guess, repeats a little bit of what was just asked here, slightly different angle on it. I'm not saying at all that there will be no jobs, not at all. In fact, the numbers that are currently published for the growth of the hospitality and tourism industry is phenomenal. Right now, the industry does not have enough people, and there is predicted to be severe shortages of staff in the industry in the coming years. So, there is no doubt that at the moment, there are plenty of jobs, and for the foreseeable future, there will be more jobs. So, the industry is almost having to, this is why I'm speaking to you, you as the future of the industry, you're going to have to start thinking about what technologies do you bring into your operations to assist you with the staff shortages. Because as future supervisors, managers, not even supervisors and managers, maybe even chefs, you might need some technology to assist you with your operations in the future. Because there is now, today, a manpower shortage, and there is predicted to be a manpower shortage for the future. Okay? So I don't think there's any concern about jobs. If I go back to 1979 when I first entered the industry, there were more jobs than people applying, and that story has not changed. There's still more jobs than people available for the industry today. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Put your hands together this time. Thank you.
Okay, it looks like we kept everybody awake. Yeah, both of you, very good. That's an accomplishment always in itself. But once again, on behalf of Visitani College, thank you, Dr. Andy. Thank you, Alan, for taking the time to come to us, share your insights, and for being a friend of Visitani College. We have a couple small little gifts to provide for you. I'd like to come up here. As Dr. Andy would advise me, we have to get the picture. So.
John, you don't know how to take it.
Let me show you. Okay.
I want everybody up here by the stage. We're going to take a group photo.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes.